Two Nigerian brothers were sentenced to 17 years in prison after their sextortion plot led to the suicide of 17-year-old Michigan high school student Jordan DeMay. The brothers posed as a girl on social media, coerced DeMay into sending explicit photos, and then demanded $1,000, which led to his tragic death within 6 hours. Today on the Daily Decrypt, we're going to be discussing the rampant rise in sextortion scams from those of underage minors down to the age of 12 through high school, as well as well into adulthood by using the name of your spouse to try to get you to pay them money. This is a really important type of scam to know about. So we're going to discuss a few different ways attackers can pull this scam over on you, and then ways you can identify these as scams and prevent them from happening to you in the future. So the first story we're going to be talking about is one that involved two Nigerian brothers who convinced a 17-year-old named Jordan to send explicit sexual pictures to them that ultimately resulted in this high school student killing themselves back in 2022. Last week, these two Nigerian brothers who committed this sextortion crime were sentenced to 210 months in prison. At the time of their arrest, these Nigerian brothers admitted to being involved in scams for more than 100 different people. And this is just one pair of attackers who are doing this. There's a lot of them out there, especially with the use of artificial intelligence. Anybody from any country can communicate with you fluently and sometimes even automatically. And so what they did was they found an Instagram account that had been hacked, and they took it over and they started messaging this boy from this girl's Instagram account. Over the period of a couple weeks, this boy, Jordan, began to feel like he had a relationship with this girl, and they were starting to click, and, you know, things got a little spicy. Maybe this girl sent some nude photographs of herself and then started asking the boy, Jordan, to send nude photographs of himself. Once he did, the scammers revealed themselves as scammers and asked him for $1,000 so that they don't leak these photos online. Jordan was only able to come up with $300, but that wasn't enough for these scammers. They demanded $1,000, and Jordan actually threatened to kill himself because he couldn't get the rest of the money. He didn't want those images to be leaked. You know, the scammers either didn't believe that threat or didn't care. Likely a combination of the two, and wouldn't back down. And so Jordan, in fact, did kill himself less than 6 hours after the initial threat had even appeared. And this is a tragic ending to this type of scam, you know, and it's worth mentioning that not all of them end this tragically. But sex and, you know, bodies and nude photographs tend to be a very private thing that you participate in with confidence that those images won't get out. But people, when they're in this mindset, are not thinking clearly, they're not thinking logically, and they're thinking primally, right? They're looking to connect, and anytime there's a situation where people aren't thinking with their full rational mind, it's an opportunity for scammers to slide in and take advantage of those people. And so that's exactly what they did, and will honestly continue to do. And despite all of the warnings in the security community, from parents, from teachers, from public figures, for children and really anybody to not participate in the sharing of nude photographs, people are still going to do it because they're going to continue to not be thinking rationally. But it's really important to have these conversations. Talk to the people that you love, talk to your children. And it's such an important conversation that I hope you approach it with tactfulness and not just throwing accusations at people, because people don't listen to accusations. You know, they want to feel heard and they want to be understood. And so maybe even using this story, as tragic as it is, as an example for what can happen if you do participate in this type of behavior. Doing something other than just saying, don't do this because I said so, might save someone's life. Now, children are one of the primary targets of this type of attack, mostly because they're a little naive, but they don't think they're naive. They're learning about their sexual organs and their sexuality and don't have the experience of being burned in the past and haven't, learned a lot of things that adults have learned. And so they're extremely vulnerable to this type of attack. But it's not exclusively children. And one of the reasons it's not exclusively children is children don't have enough money to pay off these scammers, right? They're asking for pennies. They're asking for $1,000, which in the world of scamming is nothing at all. And so that's the saving grace for targeting children primarily. So in those cases, they turn to target adults. And sure, there are a lot of single adults that are on Tinder or these dating apps, but the adults are smart enough to recognize that most people on there are scams. You know, if they do meet someone and they start clicking and they talk for a couple weeks, which is highly unlikely, and they do get down to sharing nude photographs, you know, it's really important to never share any of your face. And most adults know this, right? But one of the main vulnerabilities for adults is when they're in a relationship, particularly married or in a serious relationship. Scammers can find the name of their spouse, maybe pictures of their spouse, maybe generate AI images of their spouse and somebody else being intimate together. And this triggers a different part of your psyche where someone that you love is betraying you. And you're, again, in this situation where you're not thinking rationally. And in this case, the scammers will usually start with the cheating spouse and will send an email to the person they're accusing of cheating saying, hey, I have proof that you've been cheating. Give me $5,000 in order to not share this with your spouse or your family or your boss, whatever. They're going to try to get some money out of there. Then they're going to pivot and send it to the spouse saying, hey, you know, we're a private investigative firm, cybersecurity firm, try to make it seem like they're legit and say, we have pictures of your spouse cheating, whatever. Give us this money if you want to see these pictures or this proof. That might get them as well. And they might throw in some additional information like spouse's maiden name or address or anything that can help prove that they are a legitimate third party, which they're not. And they can get all of this information online for free relatively easily. Just having a few OSINT tools under their belt, they can find out pretty much everything about anybody. And this is one of the key tactics in social engineering, which is called OSINT, which stands for open source intelligence, which is just stuff you can find on Facebook or Instagram or Wikipedia or wherever online for free that can help attackers craft these very specific, ill-intended emails that are very believable. Because the more personal information you include in these emails, the more believable it become. One of the most interesting pivots from this type of attack is, you know, after they prove that your spouse has been cheating on you, they'll offer hitman services to maybe kill the person that your spouse is cheating on you with or kill your spouse. I don't know. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to try to get some money out of you. So the best advice is, first of all, knowing that this type of attack exists. And second of all, if you get an email like this saying that someone has proof that your spouse is cheating and wants money, or someone has proof that you're cheating, go talk to your partner, delete that email, do not contact them at all. And additionally, report it to the FBI. That way they can block these IP addresses, they can block them from services, whatever. They can take some actions to help remove this or investigate those scams even further. In today's age with generative AI, it's really easy to craft phishing emails. It's really easy to craft these sextortion scams using images that have your face or your body or are in your home, but they're doing things that you never actually did. We still tend to believe everything we see online. We haven't quite caught up with the level of skepticism it takes to identify fake images. But the best thing you can do is maintain your familiarity with this type of attack, understand the capabilities of generative AI and how easy it is to generate these images, and look at every image, especially when it comes maliciously like that, with an ounce of skepticism. You might be thinking, I'm never going to get scammed. Why would they come after me? Until it happens, it's better to think you are getting scammed and most people are scammers. But ultimately, you know, the secret to a happy life is some happy medium there, right? Not everyone's a scammer, but trust but verify. And don't lose sleep over this if it hasn't happened to you. But once it starts happening to you, talk to your spouse, talk to the person who's involved in this. Don't believe strangers over the person that you're in a relationship with.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.